The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out. Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the Rubbins Racin' Next Gen Cup Series every Tuesday night, sponsored by Butt Kicker. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name's James E. Spring to action, 1080p, 60 frames per second, as qualifying is about to come to an end here of round 2 of Bristol. Dominic DeLeo will be one of the last drivers out on track for his qualifying run. Last week's winner in the season opener, a newcomer here to the Tuesday Night Cup Series, and coming out strong in the number 22 Ford Mustang. Able to put on the top spot last week. Let's see if he can make it 2 in a row here at Bristol. As always, thank you all so much to our fans, friends, and family from across the world tuning in as we watch DeLeo get in that outside wall. He's too busy maybe checking out the fans, but thank you guys from across the world that tune in each and every week, making this broadcast fantastic, as a lot of the racers frequently have the broadcast pulled up on a separate screen, or they always go back and watch it, and they definitely notice who's out there cheering them on and get them the support. As let's get ready to start today's main event and run through the grid order here today. Starting on pole, it's going to be Jared Reed, the number 5 machine. Stephen Gibson starting second in the 53. Kevin Haas, number 3 machine, starting third. Robert Mathis Jr., number 29, starts fourth. Matt Clement, the number 19 machine, starting fifth. Carter Lynn starting sixth in the number 4. Nick Leo in the 69 machine, starting seventh. Aaron Sayer in the 42 starts eighth. Charlie Gates Jr. in the 55 machine starts ninth. Randall Hicks in the 75 starting 10th. Dominic DeLeo, last week's winner in the number 22 machine, will be starting 11th on the grid. Justin Friddle in the number 8 will be starting 12th. As we cycle it back, we've got Wayne Grin in the number 28 machine starting 13th. Jake Vanoski starting 14th in the 7. Leaf Smith in the 65 starting 15th. David Reed in the 52 machine starting 16th. And Logan Butler will start a little bit further towards the back in 17th. And finally, Butch Taylor in the 33 machine will be starting 18th on today's grid. But let's see what the drivers are going to be able to do out here at Bristol. Now, last week at Super Speedway, sometimes a little bit of talent goes into it, and a whole lot of luck is going to allow these drivers to survive the opening round. But tonight, it's going to be even more exciting at the Half-Mile Coliseum at Bristol. Who will survive and who will maybe be another first-time winner here at the Rubbins Racin' Next Gen Cup Series, your source for online racing, rubbinsracing.com. If you've got a free Tuesday night and want to join in the fun, free to join. A lot of very talented and clean drivers out here each and every week. And a lot of fun calling the action. As the pace car gets ready to roll out here at Bristol. Bristol, one of the tracks that does a fantastic Christmas light display. Had the pleasure of going out there a few weeks ago, and you were able to drive all the way down the infield, check out the little carnival area they had, and enjoy some lights at a very unique racetrack. And it'll be Reed and Gibson on the front row here. Haas and Mathis Jr. your second row. Clement and Lenz your third row. Now this will be interesting. First short track I've had the pleasure of calling with the Rubbins Racin' Next Gen Series. It'll be interesting to see how well the drivers are able to do battle out here in the very tight circumstances, especially compared to last week at Bristol. Pace car will be in this time by And let's get ready for battle at the Coliseum. Reed will be in the black and white, number 5 machine on the inside line. Gibson in the primarily white and looks like baby blue, number 53 machine on the high line. Reed in the Ford, Gibson in the Chevrolet. And we do have a Toyota coming out here today, but the green flag will drop, and here we go at Bristol. Jared Reed holding on to the lead as it looks like the number 29 machine of Robert Mathis Jr. takes the high line to work his way around Haas's number 3 Chevrolet, but already we're going to have a caution come out as Charlie Gates Jr. seems to be going slow and maybe pointing the wrong direction. Jake Fanoski also involved in that one. Take a quick peek and see what may have happened there between the two drivers. Well, we've got some 3-wide action going into turn 1. The number 8 machine of Friedel just gets hooked, and the field already stacked up from the initial start. Just kind of piles on in there, and that's going to be a rough night for DeLeo and Friedel, who are already in pit road. I'm assuming Vinoski and Smith will also come down pit road. And that'll be our wreckage rewind, the first one of the night of what I would think maybe some more to come here. As already the caution coming out on lap 1, maybe a rough night for some of the drivers. Especially DeLeo in that number 22 machine. Again, he was last week's winner, currently leading the points. But that number 22 Ford Mustang looking a little bit worse for wear. Completely removed the front bumper as well as the splitter. It'll be interesting to see how that car is going to handle. Now, granted, Bristol, maybe not necessarily a drafting track, but that lack of downforce could cause him to eat up some front tires, maybe having to overdrive the car here. And as we've got folks making their way out to the broadcast, let us know what driver you're cheering for here today. Jared Reed was the fan favorite last week, but was unfortunately unable to pick up the win and continue his dominant streak that we saw last season. But right now, the number 5 Ford Mustang out front, running strong, trying to show the naysayers he belongs out front each and every week. Gibson's still going to be starting second, Haas third, and Mathis will be fourth, and Clement will round out our top 5 here. As we get them gridded back up double file for our first restart of the night. And here we go once more. Reed and Gibson still out front. We're going to pan the camera back a little bit further to Kevin Haas, who's trying to fend off Robert Mathis Jr., Nick Leo, Matt Clement, Aaron Sire, all in a tight pack here. Up front, Gibson getting a little bit closer to Reed. Your race leader is going to have some companies. It looked like Gibson diving it very deep as Reed hugging that outside wall, trying to carry some more momentum. And here comes number 3 machine of Haas. He's going to try and challenge. No, Haas has problems. And that's going to collect, I believe, Randall Hicks as well. See what just happened. We saw it happening before it really ended up in completion. But it's actually Aaron Sire who brings out the caution, the number 42 machine. I wonder if he got into Haas. Haas takes a slight bump. And no, it's the same story for Sire as well. And just gets absolutely picked up and cleaned out as traffic with nowhere to go. And that'll bring out the second caution of the night. Ooh, the boys may be having a rough go here today. So right now you got DeLeo, Reed, Sire, Hicks, Vanoski, Smith, Friedel. Friedel's back out on track, but everybody else coming down pit road. Steven Gibson and the number 53 Chevrolet also opting to come down pit road. Jared Reed will hold on to the race lead. Robert Mathis Jr. moves up to second. Leo moves up to third. Clement and Lenz also moving up a spot. So the top 5, save for Jared Reed, rapidly changing here. Now, I wonder if some of these drivers coming in around that lap 8, 9, 10 mark are maybe taking this opportunity to put on fresh tires and maybe a little bit more fuel to get off strategy with the rest of the field in case we do get those green flag runs. But the problem with cautions, they always breed more cautions. You get the field stacked backed up, and now you're going to have drivers on different sets of tires as well. Granted, they've only got about 5, 6 laps of good, hard racing in so far, but that could be enough if we start to get a 10, 15, 20 lap green flag run. You'll start to see some of the drivers slicing through the field, willing to use up a little bit more of those tire reserves, because there is unlimited amount of tires here in the Rubbins Racin Next Gen Cup Series. So every time they come down pit road, if you're taking a full tank of gas, it makes sense to take 4 fresh Goodyears at the same time. And that can get exciting when you got some of the quicker guys cutting back through traffic on fresh rubber. It'll be a game of give and take for these competitors. Get him gridded up, double file. So now you got Robert Mathis Jr. the first time tonight. He's on the front row, and that number 29 Ford. Ford taking up the front row with Jared Reed, Robert Mathis Jr. You've got Butch Taylor coming out tonight in the number 33 machine. He's up 9 spots, currently running 9th. He is one of 2 Toyotas making it out. After last week, we had no Toyotas. You've got Butch Taylor. He's coming out, and you've also got Randall Hicks, the number 75 Toyota Camry. Pace car is in, green flag waves. There goes Jared Reed once more. Nick Leo looks up the inside line. The jewel-backed Chevrolet Camaro to take over second place, quickly looking towards first, diving up the inside line of Reed. Leo making some moves here. Now Leo started off 7th, is working his way up to first. Jared Reed's going to try and keep him pinched to the bottom. So that number 69 of Leo will maybe burn up a little bit more tires here, while Reed able to carry the momentum around the high line here at Bristol. But he is getting those marbles as well, so you got to wonder, is he going to tag that outside wall and maybe cause slow incremental aero damage on that back right number 5 Ford Mustang? And that could be a case of a death of 1,000 cuts. Just slowly working until eventually you tag that wheel one too many times. It looks like right now Reed's going to hold on to it. Leo backs out ever so slightly. As now Robert Mathis Jr., number 29, machine, he wants to join the fray as well. The 3 podium contenders stretching their gap to about 1 second ahead of Matt Clements, number 19, comfortably running in 4th here today. And we will have the caution flag waving once more. Looks like it's going to be David Reed. No, it's going to be Justin Friedel. Let's take a look here and see. Oh, it's going to be a lot of people. Jake Vanoski, David Reed, both show involved in that one in our wreckage replay. We're watching Vanoski, the number 7 machine, just gets into it with the 52 of David Reed. Both go careening up track. Thankfully, the field able to check up. Let's watch that one once more here. See just what happened. Not sure if Vanoski got into Reed. They're taking a look again. You've got Vanoski in the gold number 7. Reed in the gray and red. Yeah, it looks like Reed just got a little bit loose there, and Vanoski may have caught him right in the corner panel with nowhere to go. I would call that one a racing incident. Both drivers just really nowhere to go. And unfortunately, both their nights may be done early here. Jared Reed will hold on to the top spot. Nick Leo still 2nd. Robert Mathis Jr. 3rd. Matt Clement 4th. And you've got Wayne Grennan joining the party now in 5th. He's up 8 spots. But look at this, 6th and 7th. You've got Logan Butler and Butch Taylor have both advanced 11 positions here so far tonight. Wayne Grennan looks like he's the fastest lap holder with a 14:39 early into this feature event. And we'll re-rack them once more. Now, I'm also interested to see, are we going to see Reed and Leo saving any tires here? Or if they're just going to push immediately with these short staccato runs we've had so far, 21 laps in, 3 cautions have come out so far with 12 drivers still remaining on the lead lap. Looks like everybody except for Vinosky and that number 7 machine have been able to get back out on track. Everybody keep it pointing the right direction somewhat, get out there and try and score some points early on in the season. And let's see, Leo was very aggressive on the last restart. Now number 69 Chevrolet trying to very quickly get around Reed. If Reed was able to hold on to it using that outside line, carrying a little bit more momentum than Leo, and possibly forcing Leo to use up a little bit more tires in that short run we had. Well, let's see how they shake up this time by as the iRacing pace car makes its way down pit road. And the green flag flies. Reed gets a very strong launch. Leo, is he going to look to the high line here? No, he's going right back down to the bottom, getting right on the bumper of Reed, has to back out of it. And here we go, the same story we saw in the last restart. Leo working the inside line hard. Reed still carrying momentum around the outside, side-by-side action for the race lead. But it'll once again be punctuated by a caution as 2 more drivers will meet their misfortune. Let's see, it looks like it's Aaron Sire and David Reed here. Ooh, let's back that one up. That looks like a botched restart from, I believe, the number 4 machine. That's the number 4 of Carter Lynch, is not able to get on the gas. And the number 8 machine of Friedel just tags Sire just right. And Sire gets bounced back up into the track in front of the number 75 of Randall Hicks. Let's watch that from Dave Reed's point of view in our Record Rewind. Ooh, just gets ever so slightly tagged in the back left quarter panel and goes careening around. Ooh, we are sacrificing a whole lot of body work to the racing gods here tonight. So now it's Haas and Hicks are going to come down pit road. Reed and Vinosky. Vinosky's been there for 4 minutes so far trying to get that bodywork hammered back into place. As it looks like your top 8 driver is going to opt to stay out here. Valuing track position more than a full tank of gas at this point. Now, I think the strategy from the top 8 here is just try and stay out, stay out of the mid-pack carnage that we're seeing on these restarts and letting the field work itself out before they begin their pit cycles. Right now, it probably behooves these drivers best to stay out there, not burning a whole lot of fuel, only getting about 5-10 laps out of a run, and then immediately they're going to go into fuel-saving mode. Because normally these races are scheduled to be about an hour long each, with at least one pit stop. But with the way the cautions are rolling in, it may be a long night for several of the drivers as these guys are still getting the kinks worked out. From my understanding, they've got about 50% new drivers joining the Rubbins Racing Next Gen Cup Series this season. So drivers still taking time to get used to how each other play in traffic as well as working on their racecraft. Let's see what they'll do as they get formed up double file once more. Reed and Leo on the front row. Mathis and Clement your second row. Butler and Grinnan the third row. And again, the top 8 drivers have all opted to stay out so far, able to avoid any mire or misfortune. As we get ready for that iRacing pace car to make its way in. And here we go. Green flag flies once more. Reed gets a great launch, but look at this. Robert Mathis Jr. looks up the inside line of Leo in that number 29 machine. It's Ford versus Chevy in second, but Leo gets a massive run out of the corner. Nick Leo, a man on a mission, the number 69 machine, digging hard, gets around Reed there and takes over the race lead. Now this could be Leo battling for track position, knowing with how many cautions we've had, he really wants to start on that inside line, as we saw it work well for Robert Mathis Jr. before Leo kicked it in overdrive and just put the hammer down, putting about a 2/10 gap on Reed early on. Now we've seen some short run speed out of all these drivers tonight. Let's see who's got the long run, if we can get one going. Jake Vinoski, he gets out of his pit stall after a total of 7.5 minutes on pit road. And now Leo clicks off the fastest lap of the race with a 14.39 and starts to extend that gap over Jared Reed to about 4/10, but already he's going to have lap traffic to contend with. That's the number 7 of Jake Vinoski. Vinoski's going to try and get off the preferred groove as quickly as he can, as you see Vinoski in that number 7 dive down the apron to avoid getting in the way of the race leaders. We'll check a little bit further back in the field. Kevin Haas, Charlie Gates Jr. battling hard for the 8th place spot as we go 2 wide, 2 rows deep, and somebody gets a little loose there. That's Charlie Gates Jr. tags the inside wall. Doesn't look like the caution will come out for the driver of the 55 Ford Mustang. Able to keep it off the racing surface, but he's going to have some hard damage on there. Matt Clement, he's trying to get around Butch Taylor for 5th. No, that's going to be Wayne Grin, number 28 Chevrolet, who's going to get shuffled back to 7th. Wayne still up 6 spots from where he started. And now Clement's going to try and whittle away at the 7/10 gap that Butch Taylor currently holds in the 5th place spot. Our current fastest Toyota on track has got to be Butch Taylor in that number 33 machine. He's up 13 spots. And look at the Hornet's Nest here. Matt Clement, Wayne Grin, Kevin Haas, Dominic DeLeo, all in a tight pack here. DeLeo was last week's winner, as they are shuffling around trying to find where they're going to settle in at. And oh, are we going to get some 3 wide action early here? Looks like Haas about to go in the middle between, I believe that's Matt Clement and the number 22 of Dominic DeLeo. Oh no, that's lap traffic. That's Carter Lynn's the number 4 machine. Just trying to survive and stay out of the way. And that'll get very exciting very quickly, as now we're watching Matt Clemens, number 19 Ford Mustang, trying to work on Wayne Grinnan. But Kevin Haas has other plans as Haas goes the outside line. Oh no! Clement dripped down the apron, comes back up, hits lap traffic of Carter Lenz. I'm not sure if maybe Clement was trying to initiate a pit stop and that took out Clemens. Or Lenz, excuse me, but what an odd place to have an incident. And Carter Lynch just gets collected there. Nowhere to go. And That was also the number 8 of Justin Friedel as well, both involved. Just a strong bit of misfortune there. We've got Tyler Stovey, I believe is the right way to pronounce that. He's cheering on the number 4 machine of Carter Lenz, who unfortunately we just saw get tagged very shortly. Again, just nowhere to go for the number 4. Wildly unfortunate. And that will bring out the caution for the 5th time tonight. And now Leo will be starting in the top spot in that number 69 machine. Jared Reed will be starting 2nd for the first time here tonight. Robert Mathis Jr. has moved up to 3rd. Logan Butler looks like he might be coming down pit road in the number 99 Ford Mustang. Or maybe just hugging the apron as tight as he can. Now, Leo does not show on the standings for last week. I believe he's a newcomer here to the series, which is interesting because last week Dominic DeLeo won it, and he's also a newcomer. So good to see some fast guys making their way out to the series, joining for the first time, racing for the first time, as things have been very clean up inside the top 5. And a painfully slow pacing lap here at Bristol following our iRacing pace car. But we're going to get him gridded back up double file again. Reed starting on the high side for the first time tonight in that Ford Mustang. Leo will be starting on the inside line, number 69 Chevrolet. Butch Taylor has moved, looks like all the way up to 3rd or 4th here, showing 4th on the timing. Up 14 positions from where he started in that number 33 machine. Having a fantastic night so far and able to keep the nose clean of that Toyota Camry. Pace car is in. And here we go. Leo with a spectacular launch. Now let's see if Robert Mathis Jr. is going to try and make up a spot on Jared Reed's number 5 machine, as Leo is on the gas and doing so very early, a little bit further back in the field. The field still stacked up from about 5th place back. Matt Clement trying to track down Butch Taylor's Toyota just ahead of him in the number 33 Camry, but also getting chased by the number 22 of Dominic DeLeo, who's up 5 spots despite being involved in an early incident. You can see how battle-worn the left side of that car is. Darlington Racing Stripes have nothing on Bristol, as here comes DeLeo moving up to 5th as Clement drops back to 7th. Not sure if Clement maybe has some problems in that Ford, or maybe just trying to avoid any possible carnage he may be seeing coming up in the near future. Up front, though, the race for the lead still as exciting as ever, as Reed and Leo going side by side. Reed takes over the lead once more from Leo. Leo on the high line. Reed now running the bottom groove, a little bit reversed from what we saw early on. And just behind them, about 3/10 back, Robert Mathis Jr. enjoying the show in his number 29 Ford Mustang. Maybe seeing what lines the race leaders are running here. As Leo leaves a little bit of white paint off that Jewel sponsor number 69 machine on the wall, as he very briefly tags that quarter panel. looking for the most amount of traction as possible. Now, generally, these guys will start running higher and lower depending on what the tires are doing, searching for a fast way around, but you got to be mindful of those marbles at the top. The rubber that balls off of these racing slicks and bounces around. Way up high and way down low is where it will collect. And if you get in either one of those spots, it's going to get very slippery and get very exciting very quickly. As now, here comes Robert Mathis Jr. trying to make a move up into second. Mathis up one spot from where he started here today, but still keeping it clean. And this is allowing Jared Reed, your race leader, to stretch his legs and get about a 1.25 second advantage over the battle for second. And if Leo and Mathis start battling too hard, it may be a little bit more exciting as DeLeo and Taylor are charging up through the field here. DeLeo up 7 spots from where he started last week's winner of the season opener. Coming back strong. I'm sure this isn't where he initially wanted to be at, but he's going to dive up the inside line, try and make a move on Robert Mathis Jr., and now he's got Leo right in his sights. DeLeo and Leo, a fun battle to call up here in the broadcast booth. As number 22 machine's finding some speed that last time by. He's about 0.2 a lap faster than Leo's 69 machine. And Dominic charging up through the field on the inside line. Will he get clear of the number 69? Yes, he will, going into turn 1. So Dominic working his way up 9 spots now, second on the track. Now, this will be quite interesting. Right now, your race leader, still Jared Reed's number 5 machine. He's got over a 2-second gap back to second place. He may be able to save some tires here, but not too much, as DeLeo did come in on lap 43, where it looks like he took 4 fresh Goodyears and a tank of gas. So DeLeo has much fresher tires at this point. But is DeLeo planning on the long run, knowing that Reed's going to have to come in way before he does in that number 22 machine? Because right now, it's still both Fords right up front. Joe Crum saying he bet the house on the number 4 machine, and that was an unwise decision. But I don't know, Lynn just seemed like he got tagged in a rough situation there. Really nowhere to go despite being a lap down. Just lost out the Lady Luck here at Bristol. Reed still clicking off laps. It looks like that last time by, he was only about 0.03 of a second slower than Dominic DeLeo. But DeLeo's starting to close the gap here, less than 2 seconds, and finding a little bit more time as the run progresses. That last time by, DeLeo was about 0.15 faster than Reed. Could be those new tires coming into effect versus Reed's much older set. Reed's been out there on his original set of tires so far tonight. I'm wondering if Reed's maybe gambling on another caution to come out, where he will not lose too much time coming in under green flag conditions. Making his way around lap traffic nice and easy. That was number 65 machine of Leaf Smith doing a great job. Hopping down close to the apron, allowing the race leaders by. And while there is no blue flag rules here in oval racing, there's kind of a gentleman's agreement to try and yield the line if at all possible. Now, that being said, if your race leader, Jared Reed, comes up on lap traffic that's either battling for position or fighting to stay on the lead lap, that could be a whole new host of problems for that number 5. But right now, he's able to cut through traffic nice and clean. Now he'll be working his way by Jake Vinoski in the heavily wounded number 7. Reed blasting around the high side. Keep an eye, though, on that timing tower on the left side of your screen. DeLeo has been making some ground here. Now less than 1 second between the two. Now DeLeo may have a little bit of pressure here from Kevin Haas, the number 3 machine, who's right on the back bumper of that number 22 Ford. Now, are these two drivers going to start battling early for second, or are they going to maybe link up nose to tail and try and track down Jared Reed? Both DeLeo and Haas came in on lap 43. And again, by the time it looks like they took 4 fresh Goodyears and a full tank of gas, I think Haas has wanted to race here, looking up to the inside line of number 22, DeLeo, trying to get a nose in. Haas on the black, white, and red number 3, DeLeo in the all black and white accented number 22 machine. Haas on the inside line, DeLeo staying happy on the high groove. And this is costing them time, as well as Reed has extended the gap back up to about 1/10 of a second, as high as 2/10 at one point. So with DeLeo and Haas battling hard, this may be a saving grace for your race leader, Jared Reed, who is happy to be out front with that clean track. As I say clean track, lap traffic very quickly coming into play in the battle for second. Ooh, this is going to be exciting as DeLeo tries to cut through here. He looks to the inside line. Traffic goes high. That's the 33 machine of Butch Taylor, our fastest Camry. Taylor running 9th out on track right now. Haas trying to take this opportunity as well to see when DeLeo checks up to see if maybe he can punt his way through. But he's got to be careful here, as we've seen Taylor trying to run as high as possible, tag the wall a few times. It just takes one heavy hit, and he can come bouncing back down to the racetrack. As here we go side by side, DeLeo and Haas once more. Now Haas in that bottom groove, he can dive it in deep, but maybe not able to carry the momentum that we're seeing DeLeo do around the outside high banking. Just able to carry just a little bit more momentum here. As we are past the halfway mark of the Rubbins Racing Next Gen Cup Series. Bit of a rough start, but now the guys are showing some excellent racecraft. Steven Gibson moves up to 5th. Haas and DeLeo, though, still side by side here. As now Haas will take over 2nd place from DeLeo. We've got Alex Simpson cheering on the number 22 machine of DeLeo as well. DeLeo still up 8 spots from where he started. As now Matt Clement, the number 19 machine, looks like he's going to initiate a green flag stop coming in here on lap 85. Jared Reed, your race leader, he's got a comfortable gap, about 2.6 seconds back to 2nd, but he has not come in yet tonight. Reed still out front, just clicking off laps here in that Ford Mustang. But how far is Jared Reed going to be able to stretch that tank of gas? We had quite a few early cautions that'll help him save some fuel, but for right now, it doesn't look like the field's tight enough. You have to go back to the battle for 8th, excuse me, where you got Butch Taylor and Charlie Gates Jr. going at it. But other than that, the field getting fairly spread apart. We check back in with 2nd place Kevin Haas. He's extended his gap to about 3/4 of a second over 3rd place DeLeo. DeLeo may have used up a whole lot of tires early on in that run, charging back up towards the front, but I think the track position is going to pay off very well for that number 22 machine, especially after the rough start that he had. Kevin Haas only up 1 spot, and it appears actually losing time to Jared Reed out front. Reed has found something well in that number 5. That's allowing him to keep a fairly average lap time going around here. He's running about 1/10 faster than Haas is per lap, which is extremely impressive considering that number 5 has yet to come down pit road. With how Reed is running, I would imagine he's going to stay out as long as humanly possible, as he is still extending the gap. And he's going to want to value that track position more than anything. Butch Taylor makes his way out of pit road after a green flag stop. Matt Clement still in his pit stall on that number 19 machine. I'd imagine he's got some heavy problems then, trying to get some repairs done. The engine may be overheating in that machine. I got to hand it to both Reed and Traffic as well. The guys that are a lap down have been doing an excellent job trying to avoid taking the line of the race leader. And Reed doing a great job dealing with every hand that he has been dealt, just clicking off laps and cutting through here. As we are down to 6 drivers on the lead lap with about, let's call it about 64 laps left to go. But let's see how Reed navigates traffic once more. It's going to be tight here at Bristol. Not a lot of room here. Reed playing it very smart, avoiding going 3 wide. Timing his passes with the utmost precision. That number 5, an absolute scalpel through traffic. We got Chris Kringle, if that is your real name. He's cheering on Carter Lynn's number 4 machine. Lynn's trying to come back with a comeback story. So far, it's working well for the number 4 machine as he's worked his way back up to 5th. Excuse me, 11th. Still down 5 spots from where he started, but able to salvage a bit of an evening. As Jared Reed, your race leader, still dicing through traffic here. He's about to put Robert Mathesini, the number 29 machine, a lap down. And that will leave only 5 drivers on the lead lap. Now Reed's been losing a little bit of time here to Haas, but I think that's from just having to slice through traffic as quickly and safely as he can. An emphasis on safely. The last thing your race leader wants to do here is get tied up in a easily avoidable mistake, or worse, someone else's mistake, and throw away a very comfortable 3.2 second lead. Looks like Reed's going to have some clean track ahead of him here until he gets ready. Is he getting ready for a pit stop? He's really hugging that apron, coming through 3 and 4. But now Reed with a tire wear, he's starting to tag that outside wall as well. Steven Gibson trying to battle with Nick Leo in the battle for 4th as they go side by side. Leo on the high line, Gibson on the inside line, the number 53 machine. Lenz comes back out of pit road, getting some more repairs done on that number 4 machine. Ooh, 3 wide at Bristol. That's always exciting. As Gibson and Leo still battling extremely hard for that 4th place spot. Neither driver willing to yield here. Butch Taylor, number 33 machine, he's just trying to get a lap back after his pit stop on lap 90. Jared Reed, though, your race leader, has still yet to come down pit road. As it looks like Gibson backs out of it here. Nick Leo also falling back slightly, maybe allowing the other drivers who are on fresher rubber to make their way through. Again, all comes back to not wanting to get tied up in anybody's mistakes. No mistakes so far from Reed, that number 5 Ford Mustang. He's extended that gap to 4.2 seconds over Kevin Haas. And running consistently about 0.3 faster per lap. Wayne Grenn, number 28 machine, he comes down pit road for a green flag cycle stop. But again, the big question remains, when are we going to see Reed finally dive down the pit road here at Bristol? And this may be his opportunity, as we've got another caution coming out. Let's check it out in the wreckage rewind. We're watching Charlie Gage Jr., number 55 machine. looks a little bit squirrely there. No, it was Lynn's pointed perpendicular to the track. And Charlie Gage just an innocent victim. Let's see what happened to Lynn's. Ooh, just came up, I think, into traffic. Gets careened around and just can't catch a break, and it gets finished off by Charlie Gage Jr. I think that was a case of the commentator's curse, as we call that. And that will be the 6th caution of the night. And that may be a saving grace for Reed, able to pit cycle through under yellow. He was out there for 114 laps. I'd imagine about 20 to 30 of those were under caution. But now I think Reed should be able to run it out till the end here. So now it'll be Kevin Haas in the front row, accompanying Jared Reed, your race leader. Steven Gibson's moved up to 3rd. Dominic DeLeo all the way up to 4th. And Nick Leo will round out the top 5. Looks like it's going to be 6 drivers still remaining on the lead lap here. Now, we had a very long green flag run there, over 60 laps. Let's see if that gets punctuated as we have the caution bringing the field back together. Pace car comes in. And away we go. Reed gets an early launch, does a great job right behind him. Dominic DeLeo trying to come through on the high line. Picks up 3rd from Steven Gibson and Nick Leo, who are running 4th and 5th, but another caution will interrupt the run. As I believe it's Randall Hicks who may have spun into pit road, that number 75 machine. Ooh, yes, that was indeed the case. Enters the pit road aggressively, that number 75, Pepsi-sponsored Toyota Camry. And that will be our 7th caution of the night. So at this point, I think you can expect to see the top 5 just hammered out as soon as the green flag drops. Not so much tire wear to worry about. And more so just trying to avoid the madness behind you. 6 drivers on the lead lap. As I believe it's going to be Aaron Sire in lucky dog condition, the number 42 machine, if he does get the caution once more. Still anybody's guess what's going to happen, but Reed seems to have been the dominant car so far out here today. But I'm also curious to see what DeLeo can do with that number 22 Ford Mustang, currently running third up 8 spots from where he started. But I think Reed wants to just get things going, put down some laps. We know he's got the long run speed at number 5. And every time we restack the field is another chance for him to get tagged and ruin what has been a dominant race so far for him. As we get formed up, double file once more, less than 40 laps left to go. And here we go once more at Bristol. Reed gets the launch. And behind them, calamity ensues already. It looks like DeLeo maybe have got a shove there from behind. As we're going to have yet another caution. I think it's going to be a big one. As we've got drivers pointed all sorts the wrong way. Robert Mathis Jr., Butch Taylor, Leaf Smith, Jake Vanoski, all involved in that one. It looked to me like the inside line checked up, but maybe a bit of net code there as Mathis got into the back and cars careening around here. And man, that was a big one. So again, Butch Taylor, Robert Mathis Jr., Leaf Smith all involved in that one. See if we can check out a slightly different angle here and see what just happens. As you're watching Butch Taylor, nowhere to go. I mean, the track completely blocked. Everybody trying to check up to the best of their abilities, but no such luck. As now Robert Mathis Jr. is going to limp it down to pit road and try and get his machine pointing back the right direction. As I think now you got Steven Gibson in the pits, that number 53 machine. He was running 5th. It looks like there's going to be 4 drivers maybe still on the lead lap, unless some other drivers can get out very, very quickly. Getting very close to the 30 laps left to go mark. Now I am going to check, see how many green-white checker attempts we do have here today. Now the drivers did have 1 fast repair, and we do have 2 green-white checker attempts coming into tonight. Hopefully we can click off these 30 laps without having to use the overtime condition. There's a lot of drivers still in pit road. Steven Gibson, Aaron Sire with extended repairs. Butch Taylor and Jake Vanoski making their way back out on track. David Reed, man, poor Reed in the number 52 machine. He's been in pit road for 36 minutes so far here today. Having to watch his son, Jared Reed, go out in dominant fashion. But David normally likes to get out there and try and harass the younger of the Reed family. Here we go with 30 laps left to go. Reed and Haas on the front row. DeLeo and Leo on the second row. And green flag flies. Reed with an early launch. Let's see how the battle ends up right behind him. As that is Haas making moves in the number 3 machine. And no, too many moves. Tags the outside wall. Holds on to it. And oh, never mind. Gets absolutely slammed from behind. Both drivers still pointing the right direction, and no, Vanoski gets spun around there. That'll bring out the caution, I would imagine. And there it is, a very delayed caution. As just in time. Jared Reed almost had an incident in that number 5 machine as DeLeo made his way around. I think that was after the caution, though. So let's watch this one once more. That was a hit. To watch Vanoski in the number 7 machine, ahead of him was the driver having issues. Vanoski on the inside line just had no idea what was happening. Comes back in and absolutely slams the number 3 of Kevin Haas. Stays in the gas. And then finally gets button hooked by Haas. Oh, and that's what happened. He got tagged by the race leader. The caution came out late, and the crash kept happening. Oh, my goodness. Wow, I have not seen that one before, ladies and gentlemen. So let's watch this once more from Jared Reed's point of view. You're on board with the previous race leader, number 5 machine, still under race conditions. The caution came out and just barely glanced the wounded Vanoski, the number 7 machine. That is spectacular. I'm going to watch that one once more because that's probably one of the wildest things I've seen in a while. So again, the caution I don't think had come out at that point, or if it did, it was very delayed. And your race leader, a glancing blow at 120 miles an hour, just tagged Vanoski. Vanoski has more carnage going on after that. So now it's going to be Robert Mathis Jr. showing the lead here with our 9th caution of the night. Jared Reed, after leading a dominant race here today, is going to have his work cut out for him. Looks like it's going to be 5 drivers on the lead lap. Mathis, Reed, Leo, DeLeo, and Gates running 1st through 5th. Right now, it looks like Butch Taylor, our current hard charger, running 9th. He's up 9 spots in that Toyota Camry. Now the big question, how much damage does Jared Reed have in that number 5 machine? As he really drilled that back right corner panel with a late caution. As the field gets formed up, pace car is in. Let's see what Mathis can do in that number 1 spot. Gets on the gas quite early. Leo looks up the inside line. Oh no! Reed just can't get away from bad luck. And Robert Mathis Jr. is going to get tagged heavy in that one. Looks like Reed almost phased through him there. So Mathis just gets a little bit loose. Reed gets into it, but keeps it pointing in the right direction. Thankfully, nobody comes by at speed and tags Mathis. Reed needs to buy a lottery ticket here today. That's the second crash he's narrowly gotten through here. As you see drivers getting the wave around. So now it'll be Leo in the top spot in that number 69 Chevrolet Camaro. He's up 6 spots from where he qualified. And man, still anybody's guess on what's going to happen here in the top 5, much less the podium. As it'll be about 20 laps left to go. And it's been a rough night for some of the guys out here today, but everybody doing a good job holding on to it for the most part. Still has to be 4 drivers in the lead lap as Robert Mathis did come down pit road to try and get some repairs done. Get back out there, salvage some points. So now it's anybody's guess. Leo Reed, DeLeo Gates, the top 4 drivers. Still looking for a win here at round 2 of the Rubbins Racin Butt Kicker Next Gen Cup Series. As we get gridded up once more, double file as far back as we can for what could be the final time here tonight. Robert Mathis Jr. getting back out there, still holding on to the 5th place spot. And what I'm very impressed with is how many drivers are still out there running strong despite being several laps down, just trying to salvage some points and maybe work on their racecraft. Green flag comes in, and it'll be a 5-car rodeo on the lead lap. As Leo gets going early, Reed's going to chase in second, DeLeo now third. DeLeo have been having a great run here today. Let's see what Reed can do to work away at that number 69 machine and try and take back the lead. Leo gets a little bit loose coming out of turn 4. That's going to allow Reed to really carry some momentum on the outside line through turns 1 and 2. Driving it in deep in 3 and 4. 17 laps left to go. Reed on fire, trying to chase down the 69 of Leo. Reed looks at the inside line. Leo on the high line. Both side by side down the backstretch. Ooh, looked like a little bit of contact there between the two as Leo will hold on to the race lead for a little while longer. But Reed driving like a man possessed. will now have to work back at that half-second disadvantage he has against Leo's number 69 Chevrolet Camaro running out front. Leo sets the fastest lap of the race, a 14.29, a full tenth of a second faster than anybody's been able to put down here today. Both Leo and Reed did come in on lap 132 for fresh tires, as Reed looked like he tagged the outside wall hard there in turn 2. He will have his work cut out for him if he wants to try and whittle away at that half-second gap that Reed currently has. Not a lot of laps left to try and make it happen, but Reed answers with the fastest lap of the race of his own, a 14.28 from the second-place driver. And this last time by, both drivers matching their fastest lap of the race. Leo with a 14.29, Reed with a 14.28. The top two drivers absolutely cooking here today. How will lap traffic affect things for these two drivers? As you see Leo dice down the inside line, Reed's going to follow now. The gap's about 3.5 tenths, let's call it 4 tenths between the two. 9 laps left to go. Reed's finding time, but is he finding it quick enough? He gained a little over a tenth that last time by. He would need 4 laps at that same pace to make something happen. Or is Leo maybe keeping a little bit of tires in reserve here? Three tenths of a second. Reed finding more time. Oh, this is going to be a close one down the end. Leo doing a great job running out front. Reed getting quicker and quicker as this run progresses. 7 laps left to go. 6 as they cross the line. You see lap traffic hopping down the apron. They know there's a heated battle going on up front for the race lead. They do not want to get tied up in it. Quarter of a second separating Leo and Reed in the final moments here at Bristol of round 2. Reed now has worked his way up to the back bumper of Leo. Almost identical lines here, but looks like Reed just getting slightly better drive, maybe diamonding the corner to try and get that run off the exit. Looks to the inside line, coming out of, I believe that's going to be turn 4. Yes, it is. Leo holds on to it for another lap here as Reed runs it in deep. He's trying to measure up where he can get by that number 69 machine of Leo. I don't think Reed is going to be one of those drivers we see use that front bumper to try and pick up a win here. He would rather do it nice and clean if it all has anything to do with it. As he looks to the inside line once more against Leo. Going to try and slide up. A little bit of contact between Reed and 69 and Leo. Reed drops a whole lot of time, now back to about 5 tenths. 2 laps left to go. Leo's looking good here to pick up his first win of the season. But Reed is going to drive the wheels off that number 5 machine in the final lap here at Bristol, trying to look for a win. Getting right on the back bumper of Leo. Reed dives into the inside for the final time of this race. Can Leo carry the momentum on the high line? Yes, he can. Leo picks up the win here around 2. Jared Reed brings home 2nd, and Dominic DeLeo brings home a very hard-fought 3rd. Man, oh man, what a race. Started off a little rough with the guys and ended up with some spectacular racing. A fantastic run from Leo and Reed. That was some spectacular racing out front. And Nick DeLeo is going to pick up a very, very hard-fought win, winning by 0.05 of a second. Absolutely smoking the tires here. Again, a spectacular race from Leo in that number 69 machine. And a very well-controlled burnout as well. He must have been practicing. As we're going to try and get our drivers up here into the waiting room. Up first, we've got Dominic DeLeo in the number 22 machine. Dominic brought home the win last week at Daytona, had a rough start here tonight at Bristol, but still able to salvage a podium. I know it's not quite what you wanted, but you've got to be pretty happy with the results overall here today.
Yeah, James, it was a rough start. Barely made it on in time. I think I put up a qualifying lap, but I don't know if it counted because I hit the wall and then got in some trouble early. But yeah, if you told me 10 laps in that I'd be talking to you at the end of the race in top three, I would have been very happy with that. So.
Yeah, I mean, overall, a fantastic night. I know last week, I don't want to discount your win at all, but the Daytona, it kind of seems like it's a gamble of who can survive the draft package, and kind of seemed like it was some of the same here tonight. Like you said, in the opening 10 laps, a lot of good drivers involved in early incidents. Do you think it was just a bunch of new guys getting together for the first time in a half miler, or what do you think caused those early cautions we saw?
Yeah, I mean, people just trying to feel out how fast they are, especially some guys in the back. The first incident I got into, I think I got taken 3 wide in the middle of the first corner, which I don't know if you know this, but really can't run 3 wide at Bristol. But, I think it's just guys just kind of feeling out how fast they are, trying to get early position. But, 160-lap race, just got to be patient, and that's kind of what the game plan was for me coming into this, and happy that I executed. But yeah, that was an exciting race. I'm sorry about all the cautions. For a solo broadcaster, must have been tough there for a little bit, but I hope we put on a decent show.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially towards the end, that show kept getting better and better. The racecraft kept getting better and better, and a lot of fun up here in the booth. I'm guessing it was equally as fun out on the track. But Dominic, let us get you to sign off. Who'd like to give a shout out to? Friends, family, sponsors that's helping cheer you on this season. That number 22 Ford Mustang.
Yeah, I'd like to thank friends and family, my wife as always. I'd like to thank my sponsor, Eat Sleep Race, all the guys here also for Rubbins Racin, our main sponsor, Butt Kicking, rubbinsracing.com, With a Steel Company, Better Hammer on Twitch, and you, James, for having a great broadcast. I'm excited to go watch it again. The broadcast last week at Daytona was awesome, and like I said, looking forward to it, and hopefully talking to you again some more with the rest of the season.
Awesome. I'm hoping so as well. Congratulations again, Dominic.
Thanks, James. Have a good night.
You as well, sir. Up next, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, Jared Reed, bringing it home in the second place spot tonight. Jared, it looked like you had a dominant car whenever we got those green flag runs, and you guys put on an absolute spectacular show in the closing laps here tonight at Bristol.
Oh, yeah, it was a lot of fun out there tonight.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Jared, Leo is a newcomer, is that correct?
Yes.
Now,
D-Leo and Leo, both of them.
Yeah, I know. A lot of fun to announce up here with the very similar last names. But as an experienced Rubbins Racing veteran, what's it like when you start wheeling and dealing with a newcomer to the series? Are you a little bit more apprehensive of their abilities? Do you kind of trust the guys to get out there and run clean? Or what's the thought process when you guys are battling so hard over the duration of a run?
I mean, just to start out the race, trying to take it easy and learn how everybody runs. But throughout the race, you're learning, and you kind of can see how everybody runs and how hard you can run with them. So by the end there, I felt pretty comfortable with Nick, and we had a good finish.
Yeah, one of the best race finishes I've called in a long time. It's a lot of fun to watch. How exciting was it for you and Leo to be the first two drivers with the luxury and the curse of having to dice through traffic here at Bristol?
It was fine. Going through that long green flag run, it was a little bit tough navigating around some of them. Some of the lap cars wanted to, they were fighting, rightfully so, to stay one lap down or on the lead lap and battling amongst each other. So kind of slowed me down a little bit, but it was fun trying to get through it.
And I guess my final follow-up question is, how many lives did you run out of if you were a cat, narrowly avoiding two incidents? We saw one caution come out very late while you're leading the race, and you just glanced your back right quarter panel at, I think, 130 miles an hour, and not quite sure how you were able to hold on to that one. But, I mean, were you seeing a race drift away from you with a little incident, or what was the thought process when that happened?
Yeah, I was a little bit scared about that one. I didn't realize he was up top and just barely hit him, but it damaged my car pretty bad. It gave me the meatball, so I had to come in. I expected pretty much everybody to stay out right there, but they came in, and that kind of saved my race, I think. So kept my fast repair until the end, and it paid off.
Well, Jared, congratulations again. It's always great having you up here in Victory Lane. But before I let you sign off, who'd like to give a shout out to or pay thanks to that's helping you and that number 5 Ford Mustang be so quick week in and week out?
Well, first, I just want to thank you, James. You're doing a great job up here in the booth. We love having you call these races. So that's first and foremost. But then everybody at Rubbins Racing, it's great to have this whole league going here now. A bunch of the new guys, 2 new guys winning in a row. And so it's great to see that. And then got to thank a Better Hammer on Twitch. Go check him out. And Lyndon Steele.
Well, awesome, Jared. Congratulations on a very hard-fought podium, a very entertaining finish, and hope to see you carry that success into the near future.
All right. Thank you, James.
Thank you, sir. And up next, the man of the hour, Nick Leo, bringing it home in the number 69 machine, a newcomer here to the Rubbins Racing and Next Gen Cup Series, but putting on an absolute fantastic finish here in the 69 machine. How's it feel to be up in Victory Lane?
It feels amazing. This is my second time driving the Next Gen cars, so get a win, and it's my first win at Bristol. It feels good.
Now, Nick, you guys put on a fantastic show here at the end. Were you worried at all that some of the veteran racers, such as Jared Reed, would be giving you a little love tap with that bumper towards the end, or were you counting on the guys to stay pretty clean and consistent up front?
No, I was waiting for the bumper. It's Bristol, so I mean you got to kind of be ready for it. And he was so much faster than I was too on those longer runs, but I was glad he didn't. So I just knew my only shot was just to pin him on the bottom and hope he gets loose or something.
Well, I mean, it was one of the best race finishes I've had the pleasure of calling in a very long time. You guys raced very hard and extremely clean, especially for a half track such as Bristol. Maybe they'll go a little bit less easy on you now that you've got your first win in the series out of the way. But a fantastic run, Nick. How are you feeling going to the rest of the season? Are you going to run a full season? Or are you going to hit the races when you can? Or what's the plan for that number 69 Jewelback Chevrolet Camaro?
Yeah, I was planning on running the whole season. I skipped Daytona last week just because I'm not too crazy about the drafting model on these cars, so knew it would be single file on the bottom. And to be honest with you, I thought Bristol should probably skip too, but turned out really good and started off a little rough, but that long clean run we had, that was a lot of fun.
Well, Nick, congratulations. Your first time in Victory Lane, your first real race here at the Next Gen Cup Series at Rubbins Racing Online. Welcome to our goofy, dysfunctional family, and you have the distinct privilege. You've got the entire floor for friends, family, shout-outs, whoever you can think of. It's your time to shine, my friend.
Yeah, well, my first shot, I want to be to Jewel. There was a lot of cautions tonight, and that really kept me going, gave me something to do, and kept my head in it, kept me relaxed. And, shout out to Chevrolet and Butt Kicker. I hear they're sponsoring this or something, so shout out to them, and shout out to you for broadcasting. I had it on my phone, and it sounded pretty good. Can't wait to go back and watch it later.
Well, awesome. Welcome again, Nick. Congratulations on your first win, and I hope to see you carry that success into the very near future. You got a big role to step up to now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun. Looking forward to the rest of the season.
Awesome. Looking forward to having you, my friend.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, sir. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will do it for tonight's feature event here at Bristol. It's Nick Leo bringing home the top spot in his debut. Jared Reed, the wily veteran, picks up second, and Dominic DeLeo rounds out our podium. On behalf of RubbinsRacing.com, Butt Kicker, feel what you've been missing, as well as everyone else here at the Rubbins Race Next Gen Cup Series. My name's James East, wishing you all a happy and safe Tuesday evening, and we will be back same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everyone.